big Bombshell report over the weekend revealing that the D.C. police chief, Pamela Smith, deliberately manipulated crime data in order to maintain the appearance of somewhat low crime in our nation's capital. The report coming from interviews with commanders of the D.C. Metro Police who described the environment under Smith as marked by fear and intimidation, threats of retaliation, saying they were pressured to lower crime stats by, quote, any means necessary, and that Smith pushed for frequent use of lesser charges that were not publicly reported. Chief Smith is scheduled to resign at the end of the month. I say do it now, but whatever. Congressman James Comer is the chair of the House Oversight Committee. Look, Congressman, you spend 50% of your life in this city. It doesn't make you feel safe, does it?
No, look, everyone knew that crime was escalating in the city, despite the fact that the Democrats in Congress and the Democrats in Washington, D.C. tried to convince the American people otherwise. They tried to say crime was down when we knew that didn't sound right. But thankfully, in this investigation, when we launched it, we had whistleblowers come forward. These were active duty Metro police officers in Washington, D.C., who said they were told to be dishonest about the crime statistics, to make it look like crime was going down in a city that was infested with crime. Yeah,
it's shocking. And we've seen this all over the country, not just D.C., but there's reports of these law enforcement. I mean, look, we have the receipts right here. These law enforcement agencies, here, Lopez de Jesus Francisco and Dominguez Toto Yanko Gabriel, like, these are not white people, yet they're labeling them as white when they're arrested for, like, gang violence and stuff like this all the time. Who's going to jail for this?
Well, in Washington, D.C., unless you commit murder, nobody's going to jail. That's been the problem in Washington, D.C. They have a liberal Metro Council that has passed excessive criminal justice reforms to the point to where unless you commit a murder, you're not going to have to be held accountable. And what you see is criminals, they commit crimes in the morning in Washington, D.C., and then they're out back on the streets, and by the evening they commit the same crime again. This happens over and over and over, and our brave men and women in the Metro Police Department, they finally came forward and said enough is enough. Not only are our criminal justice laws in Washington, D.C. a joke that you know, inspire criminals to come to Washington, D.C., but we also have crime statistics that are not factual. We've been told to lie about the crime statistics to show that the crime was going down when in fact it was going up. That's what they used, these statistics, when President Trump ordered the National Guard to come to Washington, D.C. The Democrats in Congress and Democrats in Washington, D.C., they tried to say, oh, but look, the facts are that crime's going down, when every single one of us who have to work in Washington, D.C. know this is a crime-infested city.
Yeah, no, exactly. Here's something, though, Chairman Comer, that I've been like very vocal about Republicans doing more. You're one of the guys who's gotten to the bottom of a lot of investigations. You referred things over the Justice Department. But I keep saying, like, John Q. Public is like, stuff's just not getting done. We just still don't have a budget. Nobody's gone to jail. You know, we're not implementing. Like, I think only like 5 in Trump's first 100 days. Like 5 things were signed into law. Like, I'm real worried that Republicans are going to lose the House in less than a year if they don't start putting some W's on the board. What is the holdup? Where is Mike Johnson? Why can't we get a budget? Why can't we put people in jail? Why can't we do anything that was said and promised on the campaign trail?
Well, you could look at which Republicans in Congress consistently vote against the president. I think that's self-explanatory. Anyone that keeps up with can look. We have a handful of Republicans, a couple of whom are from my state of Kentucky, that just, you know, they oppose the president on everything. And you know, I don't agree with President Trump on everything, but you know, we've got Republicans that oppose him on everything, and it makes it very difficult to get to 218 in the House. And then when you get 218 in the House, you have to go back and get 60 in the Senate. Thankfully, that big, beautiful bill only required a majority of votes in the Senate, so that passed, and I think that's substantial. But with respect to holding people accountable, I share your pain. I am very frustrated. We've worked very hard on the Oversight Committee with the Biden family investigation, with Dr. Fauci's investigations. We have criminal referrals sitting at the Department of Justice right now. So we're strongly encouraging Attorney General Bondi to take those investigations and run with them, because the evidence is overwhelming. The auto pin scandal, these pardons should be kicked out. There's no question about it. So hopefully that we'll see some action soon.
Yeah. Well, the American people, myself included, are also strongly pushing Pam Bondi to do something. Chairman James Comer, we appreciate it, sir.
Yep.